Is it Friday already? I can't believe this. Where did this week go? This week is just gone on us. But that's okay. Because the week being over means it's the weekend. And I know a lot of people like to get to their weekend. I don't think anything impressive, important is going on this weekend. It's one of those last few rainy spring weekends. We all know how that goes. We'll get a couple of more weeks. Barbecue start around Memorial Day. It's kind of amazing. I believe the year. I can't believe it's almost April. It's absolutely mind-boggling. My little one is gonna be in first grade. She's not little anymore. Having a picnic today. It's kind of cool. I like when schools do that sort of stuff. They move beyond a standard four walls curriculum. Take the kids out, take them to the park, let them hang out. I think it's good I think it's good for kids to do that. It's got an interesting note from the school too. They've decided to get away from the phrase advanced. There's no more advanced classes, which, you know, you don't want kids to feel they're not advanced. So, they are now calling it honors, which lines up with the high school curriculum, which, I mean, in that regard, that makes sense. Should call it, you know, similar words, similar phrases, similar situations. I think that's a good decision. But yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. Going to Cirque du Soleil this weekend, and the story behind that is hilarious. My wife's terrified of clowns, and then the Cirque du Soleil show we're going to is The Life of the Clown. That should be fucking entertaining. But we're gonna talk healers today. I did a video on healers not long ago. I do have to apologize. My Archeage time has gotten kind of chewed up because I'm a content creator at Ashes of Creation, and so much stuff came out last week. Like an unbelievable amount of information came out last week. Steven did 4 interviews. So busy taking that apart, and then I agreed to help work on the wiki for a little bit. The primary manager of the wiki had he has a real life thing going on, and so that's taken up all his time. I agreed to go help. I didn't agree to go write it all. You don't want Jay in there writing your wiki crap. I'm gonna do like the historian piece, the archivist piece. I'll move, I'll store videos, I'll upload them, I'll do the raw transcript. I'll do grunt work, but I don't have time in my day to, that takes me a couple of minutes. I don't have time to be jumping into the Ashes of Creation wiki world and trying to line stuff out. I really think that a wiki needs to be community driven. What's up, Darth? I think if a wiki isn't getting a lot of community interaction, then truthfully, it makes me sound like a jerk, but fuck it. You're not gonna have people contributing to a wiki, then they don't really want the wiki. Like, I don't need there to be a wiki to do what I do. So somebody asked me the other day about healers, and I was gonna try to cover archers, mages, melee, and tanks, and then I realized I just can't. I don't have the time between other things I want to do and being sick. I've been sick for like 7 months. Hopefully this new round of medication takes care of that. Been feeling better, been out walking and stuff, but I just don't have time. I don't have time to do it. I think I'd have to drop a show during the week and to be able to make more content. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I am saying I'm having fun with it. I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving being a content creator. People, when I started, I'll admit, when I started making videos, my stuff was horrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my early videos were garbage. There's a part of me that wants to take him down. Boom! There's Pandar. What I like to see. Appreciate that. Getting a subscription within the first 6 minutes of the show. That's 5 months, man. Appreciate that. But my early videos were trash. But it's like anything else. Anything else you do in life, you gotta stick with it. I used to have people tell me my videos were so garbage that my channel would never have 10,000 views. I sent that out in a tweet today. Channel rolled over 500,000 views today. So pretty impressed with that. You know, I am not trying to get rich or die trying being a content creator. I do it for the educational purpose. You know, I figure I loved being an educator. I'm never going to be in front of a classroom again, so YouTube is my classroom. But I got a question this week about healers. And somebody said, am I going to do the whole diligence on healers, break them down? And the truth of the matter is, it's hard to do that right now. It's hard to do that right now because we don't know what the nerf to plate is going to be. That's really the linchpin in a lot of things. Like we've said for years, and we've talked about it on the show many times, plate is fundamentally broken because plate puts all of its defense into the physical defense category. It doesn't put any into magic. And that goes all the way. I can't speak intelligently on why they made that design decision, but you know, over the years they've made corrections for it via costume, magic shield. Like, remember, like, they came out with a shield that has magic defense on it back in Obsidian, and they did that because people wearing plate had a huge hole in their build to plate. So, and now that they've done, it used to be easy. It used to be way easier for a healer to be healing plate because all you did was, when Spirit gave you magic defense, you just stacked Spirit, got a magic shield, and you had a pretty respectable amount of magic defense. And now you can wear plate. And Kia, for God's sake, this guy I know, a good friend of mine, been a good friend in Archeage for probably 3.5 years. Guy has 91% parry rate. Come on. Come on. You've got a problem. You've got a problem with your game when you got people getting up to that level of avoidance. I know what I didn't do. Try to change this one out. But 91% parry. Like 85% physical defense damage mitigation. And he plays a melee tank, so he's always going to be doing the facing thing. So can't really. It's Wolfus Moon. Can't really, talk about healer gear until we know what that nerf to plate is. That nerf to plate could be so large that, you want to switch back over to cloth. So then people ask, well, what do I do? Well, first and foremost, make sure you have the 4 weapons done. Now, I know a lot of people ask me, well, what's better for a healer? A two-hander or dual wield? I personally go with the dual wield, because when you dual wield, you get that that huge chunk of stat. You get the crit heal rate. You get the crit heal bonus from the second weapon. Plus, you can slot 7 more gems in it, so you can slot 7 more critical heal bonus gems. When you go a two-hander, you're going to get a lot more healing power. Let me see. Necromancer. See, Aranor Club and... Oh, this is old school. Let's go. Try to find another healer in the top. Wow, healers have kind of fallen off a little bit. Here we go. Nui's Dawn. Oh, they're running a Mythic Nui's Dawn. That's actually kind of surprising to me that they're running a Mythic Nui's Dawn. And they've got their shield in. I have the same thing. Just in case, because we're going to talk about the shield slot as well. I've got the Supreme Stealth Fang as well. It's great for a for the radial heal ability. And now that you got the one button gear swap, and you're not trying to fumble around with slotting a weapon into your second slot. Really, that change I think helped healers more than it helped anybody else, to be honest. That the gear swap thing, being able to keep your primary weapon locked in place. You got a friend new to Archeage? Yeah, if they're on Kadum, they can get into the, well, they should be able to get into the guild. Yeah, we got a couple of spots. Is this plate nerf gonna hurt plate mages as well? I'm returning with my Hiram gear, still undecided, full cloth or mixing up. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with the plate, but they are nerfing plate in some way, shape, form, or the other, because plate is just stupidly broken. Now, granted, like I said, on a lot of things, it's hard to say what to do with your armor, or what to do with your build, because we talk about this all the time. Let me grab this so people know what I'm talking about. Where did I throw it? I have an entire folder of Archeage stuff. Where did I put it? There it is. This is really the crux of any building any character. You have to know which class you're gonna run. You're gonna have to know what build you're gonna run, and then you're gonna have to know what gear you need for that class. So when somebody says, "Well, give me all the answers about healers," well, it's not that simple. It is a lot simpler to talk about should you dual wield or two-hander melee, and because you can literally go down the line of here's why you dual wield, here's why you two-hander. The same argument kind of goes with healers. You're gonna get more stuff. You're gonna get crit rate, crit heal bonus, more stat from dual wielding, but you're gonna have more pure raw stat on the two-hander. Let me load that up real quick. Two-hander, epic. Come down here. We do untempered to untempered for the comparison. So an untempered Great Club is going to have 955 healing power. You'll see that the untempered Great Club has 8 less healing power than my tempered club. From this over here to one-hander. The untempered club has 803. So that's a huge amount of raw stat. But like I said, you're going to be able to get a lot more crit heal bonus, crit heal rate from having the second weapon. Plus, I'm not sure, and I haven't really dug into it, I'm not sure if the days of Great Club users just being able to sit there and straight over heal all the damage that comes in, I'm not sure that is going to work anymore, because there are some melee out there that, fuck, they hit like trucks, man. Even with the shield in, as hard as they hit is ridiculous. Like getting chunked down, like losing half your life in 2 hits. That's starting to get a little bit rough. Luckily for the most part, I have to do nothing for about 5 hits to get killed. as long as I can respond with something, usually okay. I don't know if you'd be able to. I don't know if you'd be okay. You might be okay with as a plate Great Club user. Probably okay there. And again, we need to look at, well, yeah. Shadow Smite out of stealth is a stupid mechanic, and it's broken, and it needs to get fixed. Especially if they've stacked backstab melee damage. I watched your video on gems. For now, I'm going to go with plusifying T1 gems, since that seems most cost-effective if I have no plans from changing from mage. Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, I'm still waiting on honor. I'm just about done. I'm not playing Archeage full-time, so my gear doesn't make radical improvements from step to step. I truly wouldn't. I don't think I would play Archeage full-time again unless there was a fresh start server. I hang out, I talk Archeage, I stay on top of it the best I can, but I came to the conclusion that you can't be, in my opinion, you can't be a 2-game content creator. Because if you're a good content creator, you're in the weeds, you're in the back room watching the sausage get made, you're in the swamp, you're in, the sewer, you're looking for all the bits and pieces, okay? You're looking for all the bits and pieces about the game so you can share those things. And it's real difficult to do that with 2 games. And I kept putting off playing a game with Tamir, my wife. We kept putting off playing a game together. And the truth is, there are times that something happens with a game that you can't accept. My big one last year was I couldn't accept Tryon and just the buffoonery of their statements, and I did that one video to prove it, because a lot of people were like, "Oh man, you're just shit talking on Tryon." I'm like, all right, well, here's a video for you. I'm not even going to talk in it. I'm just going to show you clip to clip, before and after. But with Ashes getting officially delayed, I said, you know what? I'm not waiting anymore to play a game with my wife. My wife likes Final Fantasy XIV. I never had a problem with it. I didn't like the fact that there wasn't open world PvP in it. But we went back to Final Fantasy XIV. We've been having a blast with it. So yeah, I will probably do the same with my offhand. I might throw a couple of gems in, a couple of T3 gems in it if I can swing it, and then fill out the rest with T1 pluses. Or I might just say fuck it and fill it out with T1s later this week when I have honor. What are my thoughts on Albion Online? I won't play Albion Online because I alpha'd it back in 15. Yeah, 15, I think. And I charged it back within 2 hours. Well, I charged it back within like 4 hours. When I found out they'd lied, they said the only thing we're gonna have is the only thing we're gonna have is open world housing. And then like 4 hours into the game, you get the tutorial on how to access your instanced housing. And I was like, no, I don't. I have no interest in doing this. Give me my money back. And I got my money back from it. So I think, truthfully, I played, I charged it back. I'm not going to play it, even though it's free to play. My character looks like Freddy Krueger. What is wrong with you, child? Why you gotta make fun of my burnt face? Freddy Krueger wears a Christmas sweater. What's wrong with you? Get out of here. But I do want to say on healing, there are a couple of bits and pieces. I don't think cast time is important anymore with the mend spam being gone. I mean, you're gonna get your mend. You're only going to be men spamming a couple, maybe 6 or 7. And then you're going to not be men spamming. So I don't think there's a real need to waste slots for cast time. I've considered rolling off the cast time on my costume. But the problem with rolling off stats on a costume is that it just becomes a fucking nightmare. It's better now. It's way better now. It's way better now with rolling stats off of a costume, because you get that, do you want to accept the new stat or do you want to keep your old stat? That is way better of a mechanic than it was before, where it was, oh, you got melee attack on a healing costume. I never understood the system as a player until I started, you know, the early classes in game design. And I mean, there are things you want to put obstacles in players' ways, in the way of the player, so that they have to play, so that they have no choice but to grind out stupid shit. It's what keeps people coming back when they're max leveled. Because what are you going to do when you're max level and max geared? You have the absolute best in gear. What are you going to do then? You're going to not play is what you're going to do. So they want to do stuff where they force you to have to grind. With that said, I don't particularly think XL hit that one very well on the head. I think there were better ways they could have gone about that. I think it was already brutal enough getting your costume the way you wanted it. You know, getting the costume the way you wanted it. And then the big part is they changed the rules. That's what really sucks. That's what I think Archeage's major problem has been for the last couple of, well, for about the last 18 months. They don't make minor changes. They don't make little taps with the hammer. They swing the fucking, you know, 25-pound sledge to make their minor adjustments, which we talked about on Wednesday's show. A lot of that has to do with Jake Song coming back to XL Games and fixing a lot that was wrong with the game. But yeah, they use a jackhammer. I think they changed too much too fast, and too many people got whiplash. The testament to Archeage, though, is how many people keep coming back. How many people come back to Archeage and just, you know, deal with it. Because there's very few games on the market that are worth playing. There's almost no open world game like Archeage. Now, unfortunately, with 5.3, open world PvP kind of died. Until the Black Dragon gets released, you're not really going to have open world PvP. Once the Black Dragon comes out, you'll have open world PvP again. The problem, Warhead, I don't think Warhead's here, but he's always pretty keen to chuck in there. The problem with continuing to play on a legacy server is that you have the nobility, you have the elite, and you have the plebeians. And that is based on 4.5 years of playtime. You release the Black Dragon, it is, if you remember down here, let's go into the encyclopedia. The Black Dragon weapons are significantly better than anything else. They are, you know, they are radically weighted. Let's just look at an Eternal Sword, 1000 DPS, a Black Dragon Sword, 1100 DPS. You're talking a significant base, and then you add in tempering, and of course, since it's percentage-based math, you can never catch up when it's percentage-based math. You get further and further apart. Well, who's going to get the first half a dozen Black Dragon weapons? The most powerful guild. What is that going to do? It's going to make that guild even more powerful. It is a flaw in open world design and concept. Did I leave a Fortuna? I did. Thank you. But you know, you have the situation where the powerful get more and more powerful, which ironically is a fear people have for Camelot Unchained, Crowfall, Chronicles, and Ashes. All 4 of those games have a PvP component to it, and I think Crowfall and Ashes have adequately addressed the issue of one group gets uber powerful and what do you do? I'm not sure. I really don't care what happens with Chronicles of Illyria because I won't play it. I think when you have the CEO of a company talk shit about his own community, like make condescending statements, well, that's cool, dude. I'm not the guy that, you know, I'm not the guy that fucked up development of my own game by talking shit about publishers, and now I need a publisher and I can't get one because they all remembered when I talk shit. Don't talk shit on your Kickstarter about publishers. That's never a good idea. What's the quote? Be careful of the toes you step on today. They may be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. They've already had to do a round of layoffs at Soulbound because they don't have the money they need. You know, that statement right there is why I will be completely honest. I will be 100% honest. If I won the lotto, the big like $700 million lotto, I would start a game design company. But very rarely would I ever engage direct with the community on a day-to-day basis like Steven does, like Caspian tried to do, like some of the other guys did, because I am not politically correct. So be like, I think you should do it this way. I think you should shut the fuck up. That's why I have Sweet Tart. Sweet Tart would be the one that would be there. Alright, give me your questions. Well, when are we going to get the answers from Jay? Well, it's a 2-part process. You give me the questions, I go get the answer. I go get the answers, and then I give you the answers. Yeah, fuck politically correct answers. You know, here's the thing. I get so frustrated with people who don't realize there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with being ignorant of a subject matter. Because people have this stigma. I hate that words have feelings. Words don't have fucking feelings. Words mean things. Being called ignorant is not necessarily an insult. Because the word just means to not know about something. Like, but what do you get? People use the word. You're an ignorant piece of crap. Well, why are you throwing the word ignorant onto an insult? Use the word appropriately. With that said, there's a lot of people that don't. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant if you don't know about something. Where the problem lies is when somebody points out, hey, this is what you need to learn, and then you don't go learn it, and then you just wallow in your ignorance and you wear it like a badge. Therein lies the problem. Yeah, man, I'd love to be the CEO of a game development company. I'd love it. Rather hear the truth than sweeten lies. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I tried. I tried to poke Steven at Intrepid. Like, dude, you fucked up. Just fall on your sword, apologize, pick yourself up, and press forward. I'm a big fan of movies. I'm a big fan of movie quotes. I think movie quotes are the modern, you know, one of the several new modern day philosophers, because we don't have philosophers anymore. Movie quotes. Rocky, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Ashes got, you know, knocked silly in round 3. But they came out, they made some changes. Didn't make everybody happy, but they're not there to make everybody happy. Hey, not here to make you happy. We're not giving you guys any more dates until we're sure we can deliver on those dates. And then you got these mouthpieces that are like, but you promised transparent development. Okay. They promised transparent development, and you see how far that got them. So they adapted and they adjusted. That was a good statement. Let's see. Darth, what do I think about the gear score cap in events? I like Red Dragon and Hiram, but Halsey Q's pop bad now, so kind of sucks. Yeah. It's a catch-22. And I wish Sweet Tart was here because Sweet Tart has always... She's been on my server, but she's the other faction. Here's the problem. The factions aren't balanced. The factions aren't balanced, and the introduction of a player nation and an outlaw nation, you could have very easily fixed Halsey. Okay? Again, it's one of those think about this for a second. The outlaw nation, the player nation, they have a role in the Halsey War, which they shouldn't, but you don't want to make content that people... Well, let me back that up a second. It's not appreciated when you make content that excludes people, even if that exclusion is self-decided. So you chose to join the Outlaw Nation. You chose to join the Player Nation. So you don't have the right to that content anymore. You made a decision to give it up. The solution that I think... Well, let me read Dalcos' solution first. It could fix the alt issue, but most of those alts will be geared to the gear score requirement. Yes, that is a problem. Like, if you played when there was Soulforged gear, and you have, you know, you put a couple of bucks into your kit, not real world dollars, a couple of gold, like 1,000 gold into an alt. You put 1,000 gold into an alt, and you can get it up to the gear score requirement. Well, now what have you accomplished? You haven't fixed the alt problem, and you've locked new players out. Although, truthfully, a new player can probably get into those events pretty quickly, if they do a little bit of Hiram work. If they do the Hiram dailies, they'll probably be able to get into those events. Oh shit, I should probably do that. But you know, I understand what you're saying. You don't want to have exclusionary content. So how do you fix the Halsey War and let everybody who wants to PvP go PvP? It's real simple. Halsey War, you just make it so your original nation is the one you fight for. So it doesn't matter if you're in the player nation or the pirates. If you go to Halsey, you fight for the east or you fight for the west. Now we don't have to have some bullshit broken system where all the most powerful PvPers who are in a player nation or the pirate nation attack from the flanks, and they really get to decide. They really get to decide who wins that day. I mean, let's be honest. They're the ones deciding who gets the win, because if they attack the east, the west will win. If they attack the west, the east will win. And the map is so poorly laid out. I'm sorry, but the way they laid out that map was just horrible. And the mechanics of being able to retreat back into your base, that was a poor decision as well. You should never have a situation where PvP is prevented. Like, if I have 20 people standing outside your base, there should be a timer, and after X amount of time, we can come in your base. It just makes no sense that you can continue to backpedal, and you know there's nothing we can do. We can't contain you, and you don't have a killable objective. So it's not like the pirates in the player nation have a base where we can eliminate you from the match. Now, if you had it where they had a stone as well, and if you went and destroyed their stone, then they're removed from the battle. They're all zoned out. Then that would be one thing. But literally, the pirates in the player nation, they're added to Halsey as an afterthought, which is almost as bad really as building content without them in mind. If you really get down to it, it's like, oh hey, we forgot about you, so we'll let you show up, but you really aren't relevant. Did I start these yet? But and yeah, with Red Dragon now you have like, man, how the hell do people show up to an event, do nothing, and still get the reward? That I don't get either. That I don't understand. How do you not design an AFK system? How do you not design a minimum requirement? Yeah, they were added via sticky note. Damn right. And that's what, I blame both. I blame both the gamers and the game developers in that regard. I hear so many discussions where people are disenfranchised with the game industry. But then they keep playing. Like, they'll say, I hate this game, but I'm going to keep playing it until something better comes out. Okay, well, by virtue of you playing it, you are supporting it. You are helping perpetuate the problem. Now, are people going to quit a game because, they have a moral code? Some will. Like I said, when the 30% self-heal nerf comes in, I will probably be done. I will probably be done with the game because personally, I think it is a stupid balance change. And I want people to remember, what I'm saying is, I don't care if you nerf healing by 30%. You can nerf healing by 30% and I'll accept it and move on. Wow. But I won't play a game that decides, because you don't know how to balance your shit, your solution is to nerf self-healing by 30%, but not all healing by 30%. So you basically in that regard, you're telling healers that they're second-class citizens. No, this Holy Bolt doesn't do any... This particular Holy Bolt doesn't do any damage, really, in PvP. This is because... and I'm slacking again, I'm not keeping it stacked, but because I have prayer... I usually have prayer stacked up to divine response. I get 150% damage versus mobs. But I'm not highly efficient when I'm bullshitting with you guys. Yeah, absolutely, man. I 120% agree with you on the. They haven't made Archeage new player friendly, and they really need to. I've talked about instanced housing, which, truthfully, I get people's argument against instanced housing, but then I always have to ask them, but what is the end goal? People are like, well, people are going to abuse it with alts. Sure, but really, what the hell are you abusing land for anymore with alts? You can't do larders out of an instanced housing zone. So what does it matter? You can't, unfortunately, you can't ban alts. Even Gamigo's overall terms of service, their EULA allows for 5 accounts per player. And we've talked numerous times. You can't stop alts. No matter what you do, you're never stopping alts. Gamigo is worse than Tryon? No way, man. Tryon was horrible. At least Gamigo's trying. I mean, at least Gamigo is trying their best. They only bought this to get money. They don't care about the game. Yeah, they bought it so that they could get Trove. Yeah, but remember, Delcos, they're not going to ban you for having alts, because alts generate them money. That is ultimately the problem with the bottom line is a company wants to make money. Alts make them money. So for every patroned alt out there, they made $20. Speaking of ideal world bullshit, yeah, I mean, the only problem with it is how do you prove alts? the best you can hope for, really, is to ban botters. To ban anybody that's using automation to make extra money. But it's really difficult. It is incredibly difficult. Like I said, the only way anybody has ever been able, the only way I've ever been able to come up with it, nobody's ever been able to come up with a better way. The only way I think you could ban alts would be as if Windows came up with software, and then the problem is that it would only affect Windows users, which I mean is about 90% of the population. But you just make it so that every Windows registry key can only be connected to your server once. That then would eliminate everybody who was multi-boxing. It wouldn't eliminate people who were running multiple PCs next to each other. And yes, there are those people as well. Virtual machines, I don't think there's too many people who are gonna have multiple copies of Windows in order to multi-box a game. Because remember, you can run a virtual machine, but it's gonna have the same Windows registry key. So it's gonna be like, yeah, you cannot connect because you're already, that instance of Windows is already connected. And then then the problem is that other people would bitch and complain that it's people that bitch and complain that it's Microsoft and their monopoly on the world, and you're like, okay, so how do you fix it? Different installations and cracked Windows licenses. Yeah, but now you're talking about not the average common user. What you've done is you're going into the rare exception of people. You're not going into the commonplace person, like, I'll use Wolfus, I'll use Tamir, I'll use Sapphire, I'll use people in my gaming organization. You're not talking shit like those people can just open 3 clients. No, I disagree with you. I think most alts are just casual players who, because you allow them to have 2 clients open, they have 2 clients open. Like the other day, Sweet Tart looked up something, and I'm talking about the 10 plus alt person. True. I mean, yeah, a person running 10 alts to be successful in a game is probably the type of person we're talking about. Just like the people in Eve. Who run... People think Eve... Like, people used to call me horrible because I ran 4 Eve accounts. I ran 4 Eve accounts, honest to God, because mining is boring as shit. And, when my daughter was on all the medical equipment, mining was boring as shit, but it was something I could do with my daughter in the bassinet next to me while my wife slept. And, people would be like, you're such a horrible person, you're running 4 Eve accounts. And I'm like, dude, there's people running like 40 accounts. Yeah, see, I don't want to have... I had 14 accounts at one point in Archeage. And that just got to be not fun. Believe it or not, I wasn't having any fun with that. I don't want to do that again. I will run 2 accounts in Ashes of Creation, but the only reason why I will run 2 accounts is I will have a tavern on my alt that new players can go to, and I will set up the tavern to be new player friendly. Well, yeah, if someone got banned for see that, and therein lies the problem. I have no problem with you running as many accounts as you want to run, as long as you run them legitimately. The moment you start botting or scripting, then you've crossed beyond, like, there's the line of unfair advantage. Well, there's the line of fair advantage and unfair advantage. If you want to run 14 accounts and you want to do it all manually, have at it, man. have at it. But if you're gonna start cheating, then, you know, you've got bigger problems. When every stream conversation turns into talking about how broken the game is and you know the game is dead and don't have a solution. Well, my solutions, I don't work for Excel, so... I mean, if they wanted to talk solutions, we could talk solutions. But I mean, I'd have to ask the question of, dude, you've got this, like, deep-seated hatred of the game. Maybe just unplug, dude. You don't like the game, that's cool, but I think it's honestly taking a little bit of a toll on you. Like, you were the one who was mad, if I remember, because they wouldn't answer your ticket. But when they answer your ticket, all they're going to tell you is, we don't do that. They won't delete a character for you because you wanted to delete a character off your account. Well, that's cool, but I mean, they're going to tell you your character deletes itself in 7 days. I've never once defended Gamigo's ticket system. I used to bash the shit out of Tryon in the ticket system as well. If you're gonna have a game, you have to support it. I bash Intrepid for their ticket system, and you know, these are all the you know, these I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter if I'm an official content creator for your game or not. If you have, you know, if you have a shitty support system, I'm gonna say you have a shitty support system. I had a ticket at Intrepid, took 3 months to get answered. It got answered, it got resolved, but it doesn't change the fact that it took 3 months to do. Better idea, start again on Legacy or Fresh Start. I would start on Legacy. From what I've heard, the Fresh Start servers are pretty dead. But, you know, I don't go to Fresh Start because my account is banned on Fresh Start, so I don't go places I'm banned. There you go. Delcos has an answer. EU sounds like it has a budding Fresh Start. Fresh Start. Well, the EU, if the EU one is active, then that's why. Because the EU, if Fresh Start is active in EU, which it may or may not be, I don't know. But if it's active, then that means there's not everybody running around with Aranor gear. Where that's one of the problems you're going to run into in North America if you join a Legacy server. People are running around with Aranor gear, and a lot of them, from what I've heard, and I don't give names, but there were people that told me that they exploited the shit out of the Aranor system and they didn't get caught because the glitch in the system still exists. Now, you know, I don't have any reason to doubt these people, but there is a glitch in where they can track where items go, and so some people pass the Aranor around to alts, fed it on their alts. That way, if they got in trouble, they would get in trouble on their alts, and then the items magically disappeared. So, if that's the case, and it's the standard. What I can't. I can't cancel out because it's past the time, and I'm stuck on standby. Okay. Whatever. They're too lazy to queue. Yeah, I mean, you have a problem with your game overall, and every game goes through this. Every game goes through the inevitable population decline. Every game. Some of these games come out the box and they have, you know, hundreds of millions of players. Not hundreds of millions, but they have millions of players. And then the excitement wears off, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, what do we do now? Like Star Wars The Old Republic was a good example of this. Every goddamn Star Wars fan ever was playing Star Wars The Old Republic. But then the problem comes in, well, what next? It didn't take long to get to the end of the content. So you get to the end of the content, and then what? They didn't have enough content to launch with. So the problem was that if you ever look at the Star Wars The Old Republic budget, it was huge. And you would think to yourself, with that big of a budget, holy shit, why didn't they have more content at release? And then you break down the budget and you find out that more than a third of the budget was on voice acting and cinematics. So, and marketing. And I don't know why the hell you had to market that game to that extreme, but whatever. You do what you feel you need to do. But Star Wars The Old Republic was great at launch. And then people quit. And then they start panicking. Like, well, what do we do? What do we fix? I truly think that theme park games are over, because if there's not player-driven content, player-created content, you're never going to be able to maintain a healthy enough cupboard of content for your players. There we go. Dance, you fat man. I actually have to make the other one of those. I have to make the Gizmo one. It's on my list of things to do. Because my daughter has the dancing Gizmo. I want to do that as well. But you have to have enough stuff to do. And that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about today. Games that are doing it right. Having gone back to Final Fantasy XIV now. I played Final Fantasy XIV at launch. Played it at launch, was one of the trendsetters, one of the max level people, one of the people that, you know, was stuck at a certain part of a quest because an item wasn't available until players created it. That was kind of a cool thing. I remember going out and being level 50 and being stuck on my relic quest because I had to get, Battle Dance materia. I had to get 2 Battle Dance materia 3. And I remember hanging out with the same group of 8 people every night, and we didn't even care who got what pieces. We literally would put on a full set of gear, go out there, and grind the shit out of stuff to soul bind gear so we could convert it. And it took like 4 nights of probably 4 hours a night getting the bits and pieces. Because we didn't want to do the next step until everybody was... I didn't want to have to keep doubling back and doing steps. So we got everybody taken care of, and we pushed everyone through. And that was fun. But then it was, you know, the next group of people, and they were like, well, we can't get it done. Well, figure it out, man. It's possible because we just did it. Well, over the years, they added more content. And the one thing they added that I think is absolutely amazing is they added the Golden Saucer. And this thing appeared in other Final Fantasy games. And I mean, that's the cool part about being a franchise. You can pick and choose and steal from other games. Well, yesterday, Tamir had to leave at 2 to go pick up the kids. And then Thursday, Gizmo has dance. So Tamir and I couldn't play together. And we have a rule when we're playing, we don't go in the main storyline without each other, because then, you know, it's a source of frustration. One of you is further ahead than the other. So I had nothing else to do. I want the car. I'm just in there grinding away coins in the Golden Saucer. Dude, 4 hours later, I was like, holy shit, I've been playing mini games for 4 hours. And isn't that why we play video games? To kill time? To have fun? And I had a fucking blast. You know, got up this morning and thought to myself, check this out. Why can't Archeage do an instance with some of their old events? What did I write down? Remember that area in World of Warcraft where you went back in time and you saw events in the storyline? You saw the canonical events in storyline? Well, why can't they do that with Archeage a little bit? Like, put the Rum Runner event in an instance. Just be like, yep, I'm gonna go run the Run Rummer thing. Why does stuff have to be Caverns of Time? That was it. Why does stuff have to be one and done? And then I'm gonna compare and contrast two games. And like I said, it is way easier, way easier for Square Enix to do this because they have an entire library of games that they can reference. But over the years in Final Fantasy, Lightning has shown up, Squall has shown up, now Noct showed up, and they have a cool little event going on in Final Fantasy XIV right now that's not mandatory, but it's a fun storyline. If you've played Final Fantasy 15 and you've played Final Fantasy 14, the event is kind of cool. My wife actually said, you know, I kind of want to go and play 15. We own it. I've played it. I've beaten it. She said, I kind of want to go and play 15 now because I want to know about his story. Why can't XL do something for our events more than run around Mirage Island for 5 minutes? And, you know, not saying that this event was bad. I'm not saying this event was bad at all. Compared to other events they've done, at least they utilized Mirage Island, which I'm about to go do. But, you know, I don't like running around Mirage Island. No, I mean, this time it was cool, but then in comparison to another game I'm playing, I'm like, oh, this is cool, they're using Mirage Island. Wow, compared to Final Fantasy, this event sucks. Do I think they'll ever merge Fresh Start? No, I don't think they're going to do any more mergers. What I think they'll do is they will open up, they will move the Fresh Start server, they will make, well, before they can even do that, they need to, before they even do that, they need to bring the Fresh Start server up to the current spot that the Legacy servers are on. They need to remove all the Obsidian on Legacy if they merge Fresh Start. No, they don't. That's not. They don't have to do that because they allowed people to keep their Obsidian. But they need to bring the Fresh Start server up to the rule set before they can do anything with it. That absolutely has to happen. Like I had said previously, and you know in Glyph where you do the pull down North America, EU, what they needed to do is they needed to do North America 2, EU 2, and then just tell people, we are never, ever, ever, ever merging you. You will never have a shared auction house. You will never have shared arenas, ever. Because, you know, it just makes sense to do it that way. But they want to have, what do they want to have? They want to have a situation where they can merge server, or not merge servers, but allow transfers between the servers. Because what do server transfers do? Make them money. They make them money. Those guys that have, you know, those guys that have 100, 200, 300, 400 Apex stocked on the Fresh Start servers, they, you know, they're chomping at the bit for a merger because they want to get access to all their Apex, which is why, given how out of control the Apex prices are, I would not expect to see the Fresh Start server become transferable anytime soon. It will crush the fucking economy. It will crush the economy. I literally know people with 400 Fresh Start Apex. Let's look at the number. 400 times 1822. That is 728,000 gold. That will ruin the economies. They want to be able to shove the Legacy players in the Fresh Start servers players' faces to try and entice them to play more. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, another one of those Jalanisms that if I was ever the guy in charge, I don't think you should ever be able to, in any game that has Any game that has tradable gear and tradable resources, you should never be able to server transfer, and you should never be able to name change. I think, truthfully, I think games get driven into the ground and turned into piles of shit because the transfer option... What does the transfer option mean? The transfer option means I don't have to be responsible for my actions. I can come to a server, I can turn it into a graveyard, I can free farm the shit out of it, and then I can leave. If you made it so people have to, you know, live in the shit world that they create, people are going to be a lot more responsible for their toys. And I use the discussion of when you rent an apartment, when you rent a house, when you crash at somebody else's apartment, when you rent your own apartment, when you own your own house. Not everybody, because you always get the exceptions to the rule, but most people treat a house that they own a whole lot better than they treat an apartment that they rent. The reason why is because it's yours. I've known people that have put a hole in the wall at their apartment, and then they just flat trash the shit out of the place. And it's not that they go out of their way to trash it, but they just stop giving a fuck about it because they're like, oh, well, I put a hole in the wall. I've lost my security deposit anyway. You know, so then they don't necessarily care about mud on the carpet. They don't necessarily care about marks on the wall. Because why would they? They, you know, they know they're not getting their security deposit back anyway. Well, it's a whole lot different if you own a house. My cats tore up my carpet on the stairs. Well, that doesn't mean I let my cats run around and tear up the carpet in every other room. Now, I always end up replacing the carpets when I leave houses because, you know, I don't know, $4,000 worth of carpet makes the house, you know, look better, sell for more. You get more than $4,000 out of $4,000 worth of carpet. But with that said, you know, people don't give a shit if it's not their place. Same thing with your server. Oh, we're only here for 30 days. How many times did servers endure the horde of locusts that were the free farming player nations that came to a server? How many times did servers endure player nations coming to the server, sieging 2, 3, or 4 of the castles, knocking them down, not building anything on them, and then saying, fuck it, your server can't get access to things because we have all the castles and we're not going to develop them. Putting materials that could only be built at a castle was a horrible dumb fuck idea. That was a horrible game design idea. The entire parts of Obsidian being locked behind castles, horrible idea. Lord's coins being required for Obsidian gear, horrible idea. Because of not a horrible idea based on the idea itself, but being based on the castle mechanic. Warhead and I discuss all the time, the castle system in Archeage is broken, but it would need a complete and total overhaul to do it any other way. I quite enjoy the Revelation Online version of weekly castle sieges. They're weekly. Doesn't cost you anything to siege. It costs you a bunch of resources, costs you a bunch of resources to put up walls, put up cannons, defend your castle, but that's if you want to hold it. You don't have to build the walls and stuff. I think Revelation Online got that right. I know a lot of people didn't like Revelation Online for a lot of reasons, the exploit being one of them. But that doesn't mean they didn't do some things well. Logged on to North America. Yeah, North America Fresh Start is dead. You'd have to check EU Fresh Start. Everybody, it's always been NA Fresh Start is pretty well dead. Because people in NA did the usual. I'm going to the Fresh Start server. I'm picking up as many Apex as I can, and then they're just gonna sit there. My account that I can't access has Apex on it, just sitting there. Hashtag the missing 7. EU Fresh Start is a lot more alive than people want to admit. Again, I won't. I can't go check, but I mean, all you'd literally have to do is log in, go to the main town. If you see anybody there, it's, you know, a miracle. When are they fresh starting again? No idea. I don't know. Nothing even says they're gonna do a fresh start again. They may not do another one. That may be it. We may have what we have. I saw more people on Legacy than Fresh Start. Well, I would certainly hope so. It's not a matter of are there more people on Legacy or on Fresh Start. It's a question of are there enough people on Fresh Start for a new player to start with. It's not, I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that the Fresh Start server is more populated in EU than the Legacy servers. It's a matter of where would a new player go? Could a new player go to EU Fresh Start and be successful? I don't believe they could go to NA Fresh Start and be successful. I don't think they would run into enough other players, which is a shame. But at the same time, NA Fresh Start was ruined from the very beginning, and that's what happens. That is what happens when you don't launch well. And I mean, you guys know that. I mean, I don't think anybody needs to, you know, be taught or have the you know, the statement of if you don't launch well, you don't perform well. I mean, Bless Online is a great example of that. Bless Online launched okay in the 2 days of early access. I'm saying okay, but they ran into so many problems that, number one, Steam said, get fucked, we're giving refunds and you don't need to approve them. And number two, they decided to do that massive game design change on day 3. That was planned. There's nobody ever going to tell me that that wasn't planned. That wasn't planned from the very beginning. They knew they were going to do that. That was a dirty shit move to make as much money as they could, get as many people locked into their packages as they could, and then, fuck it, you can't refund because you're over 2 hours and now we've made the game stable. Anyway, let me jump up real quick, and I will be right back. Let's see. What do I think about T2 Awakened Aranor? I think T2 Awakened Aranor is kind of self-defeating for the purpose of giving people Hiram gear as a catch-up. What is the point of instituting catch-up gear if you're then just going to keep getting further and further away? I think T2 Hiram gear, T2 Awakened Aranor gear works really well if you're going to allow Hiram gear to go up to Eternal. Because I'm not saying that people who earned their Hiram gear don't deserve to have an advantage. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the gear gap was too big, and you didn't really do anything to fix that. You feel like Hiram gear should be, you feel that Hiram gear is too good, it should be on par with T6 Obsidian. Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you there, and the reason why I'm going to disagree with you there is I don't think the Hiram gear should have been on par with T6 gear, because T6 gear was a bitch and a half to get. It was a bitch and a half to get an epic T6 set. I mean, it's not like people always say, oh, well, it was easy for you because you had T6 epic obsidian healer gear. Yeah, because somebody just rolled up on my doorstep one day, you know, a magic fucking Daru showed up and said, here, have you... What is your problem? Come here. What is up? He's howling at me. I don't know what his problem is. It's not like somebody showed up and was like, oh, here you go, Jay. You can have your gear. You've been a good boy this week. You get a full set of obsidian, which is about on par with a full set of T6 obsidian, I think. No, because you have to remember that the obsidian gear had the RNG on it to go to epic, and that's the problem. I mean, that's ultimately the problem. If you have to factor in the how many broken pieces, how many divine pieces did I have to go through in order to get it. Yeah, you don't have to deal with any RNG when you can buy the gear, but that's a bullshit argument because it's not like epic obsidian gear was appearing on the auction house every single day. Most of the time, epic obsidian gear that showed up on the auction house, especially cloth, was hella fucking expensive because that was back when mages were what the fuck powerful. You can slack your way to full epic nowadays. I mean, yeah, you do the Fall of Hiram City, you do the Fall of Hiram City, you do your dailies, you're gonna have enough infusions to pretty much get what you need. Oh, did I forget to turn in one of these? Well, it's not like you're buying epic obsidian gear every day either. Play it smart and patient. Find your pieces at the right prices, and 3.5 months is about right. Might even be too long. No, it's way longer than that, man. I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I went through the shit. I went through the shit waiting on pieces. I mean, you can, plus the fact you got to remember what time period are you talking about? Christ, there was a time where epic T1 was 27,000. And we're going all the way back before the increased regrade rates. So, yeah, I don't think the work you put into Hiram gear is the same level of work you had to put into obsidian gear. Would you get down? Thank you. Excel Development Company announced that they will reinforce the Hiram Daily Quest rewards in 2019 updates for newbie players. They did that. Let's see. Because I see melee above 3k being unable to kill a cloth healer. If a melee is 3k above a cloth healer and can't kill a cloth healer, then they're doing something wrong. They're trying to face roll. They're trying to face roll, or they don't have the skills in their build that they need to kill a healer. It's amazing how many people try to brute force down a healer and you just can't do that. It's amazing how many people try to brute force down a healer and never try to CC him. You know. Okay, you're great. You're great, but you're annoying me. You can come say hello. This is the annoyance right now. You can come say hello. Oh, well, then go play. I'm not gonna come play. I don't want to play. I don't want to play. He wants me to come play. This cat plays fetch. Well, bring me a snowball. I'll throw you a snowball. Weird ass cat. This cat, man. This cat is the bomb. He plays fetch, and it's actually really damn amazing because we got these snowballs for my daughter's Christmas party at her school, and he brings them. I'll throw him and he'll bring them back to me. What? But he's also a jerk because my other cat sleeps with a stuffed animal, and he fucking steals her stuffed animal. But no, I do. It depends on the gear score range, to be honest. A 9k melee can brute force down a 6k healer, but a 12k melee may not be able to brute force down a 9k healer. That is also true, and it also depends on what the it also depends on what the healer is running and how the healer is stacked. If the healer is, I mean, it depends on where their 9k is coming from, because if you've got a healer with the toughness gems and their pants are done and their heads are done and their head is done, and they have all the gems in, that is going to be a lot harder of a 9k healer to kill than if their 9k is coming from resilience. So yeah, that's a fair point too. What the fuck, a cat that fetches, do you walk him to? Yes, actually this particular cat is trained to walk on a harness. He is trained to walk on a leash. Are you stuck? Yes, so he is trained to walk on a leash. I don't know what his problem is. He's just so upset. Let's see, did I miss anybody here? Yeah, return him, gotta, you know, show thy cat. Come here, one more time. Come here, they want to see you. Oops. This is my cat. He is a very, very, very loyal friend. He almost got himself killed. He almost got himself killed once upon a time in a land far away. Because he ran out the door. And I couldn't find him for like 18 hours. Although, my cats have their front claws. I don't believe in declawing cats. This is just another one of my little PSA personal announcements. If you get a kitten and you declaw it, I just want to let you know that you've actually cut the end of the kitten's fingers off. You're not just cutting off their nail. Their nail is an extension of their hand. And really, if people say, well, I adopted a kitten, but I declawed it, well, that makes you an asshole. Just put your hand down on the table. I'm just gonna take all of your, I'm gonna take all of the last knuckle down off your fingers. The truth of the matter is, if you're really, really paying attention to your cats, and you're really trying to do the cats a service by saving them, then number one, accept the fact that your shit's gonna get fucked up. Number two, you can teach them to not claw the shit out of stuff. You can teach it. Teach them, not it. You can teach the particular cat. Or they make these wonderful little claw guards. These little rubber claw guards that you can put on them, and they stay on for about 2 weeks. And you know, when you cut their nails every 2 weeks, which you should, like, if your cat is clawing the shit out of your stuff, that is a pretty good fucking indicator that you're not caring for your cat. Because it's saying my nails are long. Yes, I know. Is that what you're telling me? Are your nails long? I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak cat. He gets like this sometimes. Oh, hold on 1 second. I know what'll make him happy. Hold on. That's what he wanted. It's a nice day out. He wanted the window open. I can only open the window like this much. Because, like I said, he's my idiot that got out once. And he, this story is so funny. My teenager, she was 2. And she woke up one morning early. And she went to the front door. We had this really weird front door in Kansas that when we first moved into the place, it would pop back open, and the door popped open, and the cats were crying at the door, so she let them out. Well, our 2 cats, the feral, that, believe it or not, the feral didn't run away. The feral just sat there looking at the door like, no, let me in. And the gray one's brother was there, and he was like, nope, let me back in. Well, this idiot ran off. I spent 18 hours looking for him. going up and down the block. People that tell me they saw him. I had like everybody's permission to hop fences. I'm 30 years old. I'm out there in the fucking cold in the rain, hopping fences, trying to catch this cat. And I just can never get him. Like, everyone's trying to help me catch him. They all got my phone number. They're calling me. They're like, yeah, I saw him. Where is he? Okay. Finally, like 1 o'clock in the morning, I put food out on the front porch, food, water, and a cat bed, thinking if he came back, he would, you know, sit down. No, that little punk ass, he showed up, ate the food, right? And he started to walk off. And he started to walk off, and I saw him, and then he came to me, and I was like, you jerk. You were trying to have a day 2 of your wild adventure. Get out of here. You know, no day 2s. But, now we have to keep an eye on him. He has figured out how to open the front door. He can't open the screen yet, but he can open the front door because he'll jump and he'll hang on the handle. It is the funniest damn thing. Anyone playing on EU Fresh Start? No, we were just talking about EU Fresh Start. I mean, for as many people that are coming back to Archeage, there's an equal number of people leaving, which is pretty par for the course. Delco stopped playing altogether. Uh-oh. It's gonna crash. So, good, I can do that on a... Whoa. I can do that in Archeage. If that happens, in Final Fantasy, I have to log out and log back in. By the way, guys, you'll notice I'm not wearing the headset today. I don't like to... you'll notice I don't have my Amazon thing up anymore. People used to ask me, like, everything about my setup and what I was using, so the only easy way I could figure out how to do it was put it on the Amazon affiliates chart. But then people were like, well, why are you trying to sell Amazon stuff? I'm like, well, I'm really not. I really don't care. So I took it off. But if anybody has glasses and they don't like wearing headphones, I know a lot of people end up having to settle for earbuds. Because I'm going to be honest, having noise reducing headphones over the top of my glasses was really starting to piss me off. Really, really uncomfortable. I picked this up over the weekend, and I absolutely love it. It is a wearable speaker collar, and worth every penny. And it was a lot of pennies, but it was worth every one of them. Really nice. Plus, links in with my Discord if I have to make a Discord call, and links in with my phone, so I don't have to hold the phone. How much was it? Like 300. So, yes, that was quite a bit of pennies. But it was because I won't be teaching again in my life. And so I had a couple of years worth of contributions. Yeah, I'll grab that for you. This should be it. A couple of years worth of contributions to my retirement plan for my teacher's salary, and I had to pull that money back out because I was never going to be vested in the teacher's pension. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take that money out. I'm gonna buy myself something nice. So I actually have to file taxes this year now, though, for Illinois. I mean, I always have to file taxes, but it's always 0 because it's military. It's my military paycheck. But now I have to fucking... Oh, no, I don't. I don't have to file Illinois taxes because that was Illinois tax-free. So good. I was just thinking about that. I feel really bad, man. Illinois is trying to legalize marijuana so they can get out of the crippling debt that they're in. Illinois is about to go bankrupt. You thought it was bad when fucking Detroit went bankrupt. You know, people were like, "Oh, Detroit went bankrupt." You think it was bad when a city went bankrupt? Wait until an entire fucking state goes bankrupt. Don't think they will do that gear. They already did the gear thing. The gear requirement thing's already in place for events on the legacy servers. And I don't think the Fresh Start server has those events. I don't know which ones they have and which ones they don't. Like I said, I don't keep track of the Fresh Start server. 4K is not enough. Yeah, 4K is not enough, but 4K is not enough, but now that they have it in, it's a whole... The hard part is getting the system in. The easy part is tweaking the system and upping the number. I mean, you had to fight to get them to put the system in. Now the system's in. How much do I need to do? No, it's not CRGR. It's just Fall of Hiram City, Red Dragon, and Halsey. It's not for the other ones. Now, that doesn't mean that the people who are running the events on your servers aren't going to do things like have a minimum level requirement or minimum gear requirement. But that's all player driven. That's all player decided. How much you need to do all that? 4K. And the truth of the matter is, if you don't have a 4K... Fall of Hiram City kind of sucks, because Fall of Hiram City does not have a need for people to have gear. But the problem is they needed to tweak Fall of Hiram City and make no honor, no vocation, and then I think alts would have stopped doing it. But the problem is that I'm tired. I'm honest to God tired of loading into the Fall of Hiram City and it being like 4 people trying to run their ass around just to get the bottom reward. You don't have to kill. You actually do not have to kill a single treant or deer. You do have to kill the wolves, but you do not have to kill a single treant or deer to get what you need. There's frozen deer on the ground. And plus, I mean, at 4K gear score, you can kill the deer that are running around. You would struggle to kill the mammoths. If every single person in your Fall of Hiram City was 4K, you'd struggle to kill the mammoths, but you don't need to. You actually don't need to ever kill them. You just need everybody to be... People need to be working their ass off. And that's the problem. People don't. What's up, Ryu? See, I think Fall of Hiram City, we were talking about it the other day, they should have a minimum number of packs turned in to get the reward. You have to turn in at least 5 packs. You have to turn in at least 6 packs to get the reward. So... Two 4Ks can kill the mammoth? Maybe. Maybe I'm thinking... I mean, I know 2 4Ks aren't going to kill the treant. Maybe the mammoth. I've stopped venturing out into the world. I've stopped venturing out into the world anymore. I just work close. I just work close. To the spot. I get the main... I make sure the main path is lit up. And that I just work close to the turn-in and get as many things turned in as I can. And it works. I've just... The last couple of times I've derped it because I'll be streaming and I'll have lead. And... I won't do any leading. I feel kind of bad. Be like, shit. But I mean, truthfully, if everybody is, you know, paying the fuck attention to what they're doing, you really shouldn't need any leadership in the Fall of Hiram City. I mean, really? Start off, pick up the 2 carts, take the 2 main carts, go do the treant, if you feel the need to. Go clear out that shit. What do you think about Mindslaver, Malediction, Defense, Occultism? It's like a mage tank that Defiler was in the old patches. Do I think it's good? Well, if you're trying to be a tank, you need to have Oromancy in there. Without Oromancy in there, you're not really bringing your tanking to the fullest potential. You'd be more tanky than the average mage, but you wouldn't be tanky against mages. The funny part about Demonologist, let me tell you the funny part about Demonologist. People started bitching about Demonologists in 2019, and I told Tamir that, and she just laughed. Tamir just laughed her ass off because Tamir started with a Demonologist. That was her first class. So before she made the switch to melee, because Demonologist is unfortunately squishy as fuck, but she made the switch to melee because you know, it's always funny when you got people who tell other people that they can't do something. But she played a Demonologist because in WoW she was a Warlock, and she thought, oh, this will be similar. And I'm like, not really, but she figured it out. But seeing a Demonologist get on a boat when people are low level, Demonologist at low level is disgusting. Well, not today's Demonologist, but yesteryear's Demonologist was absolutely disgusting with how much damage they can put out in such a short period of time. I mean, it was gross. It was absolutely gross. I usually get the same people in Hiram since we crew at the same time and we raid up. We call it. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, that's another thing. I don't understand why, honestly. Why can you form a 10-person party for something, but it's a 20-person event, but you have guilds of 50 people? Why can't you queue up as a group of, why can't you group up as a group of 20 and just do Fall of Hiram City? You know? Just be like, nope. Because you can queue up as a group of 5 and do the Noyette Challenge. So it's like you have rules. You have rules and shit, you know, that are contradictory. You can form a group of 10 to try to do Red Dragon with, but Red Dragon's a 50-person event. So why can't you just form your own group of 50 and go in there and do it? And then I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, well, then new players would never get a chance to do it because they would never get matched with people who can clear the content. Okay, but that's part of the effect of being part of a social game. Like, how many people join guild-based games and then never join a guild? Somebody asked me the other day, games in development, are you going to be able to play Crowfall without a guild? No, probably not. You're probably not going to be able to play Crowfall without a guild. Because it's all based on realm or shard, or I forgot the term they're using for Crowfall, but it's all about going places, conquering, then the decay, and then moving on. Now, can you run around and be an asshole? Could you run around and be an asshole as a singleton and cause grief? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Pantheon. Couldn't imagine trying to play Pantheon without a guild. I can't imagine trying to play Ashes of Creation without a guild. I'm going to have my guild when I go in. I'm going to have my guild preformed and set. Where's the best place to farm actual Hiram pieces? Diamond Shores, Golden Ruins, and anywhere in Aurora that doesn't have a daily or Hiram gear. Golden Ruins though has always given me some pretty good results. Yeah, Golden Ruins seems to be the go-to place for Hiram gear. It just works well. But yeah, so, I mean, I've had people say, well, I want to play Ashes of Creation, but I don't want to join a node. Well, why? Why would you want to play a game that the majority of the content comes from a node, but you never want to be a citizen of a node? Well, I don't want to get involved in node wars. Then move your citizenship. I highly doubt the developer of the game is going to force you into conflict states. Like, you're going to get a notification, your node is at war, hostilities can commence in 24 hours, or 12 hours, or 6 hours, or whatever. You don't want to be part of it, then transfer out. Put your house in one zone, your apartment in another, that way you always can transfer. Well, I don't want to give up what I have. Well, now you're asking for the world. Why did that shoot to my, Why did that go over to my mail? Why didn't they come to me? That's weird. But, you know, you can't, you can't expect a game developer to develop systems and then cater to everyone. That's just and that's where I say all the time, I blame the players for the state of the genre at the same time as I blame the developers. It depends on what the topic is. You want to talk about this phenomenon known as the vocal minority. There was an issue in Ashes. I'm not gonna break down the whole issue. It's in the video that I just did. But there were these people that on the Discord all day, every day, that we talked about corruption. The same people had the same very well done, articulated argument. And I'm like, all right, well, you can sway me to your side with your argument. And I'm like, that's cool. I agree with your argument, but let's feel it out a little bit more and let's see how other people feel about this. Turns out, after putting out the video where I talk about the concept and what the open world PvPers want, hardly anybody wants that. Even other open world PvPers say, I don't want that. I like the system the way it is. So always be forewarned about the vocal minority. And game developers need to stop acquiescing to the will of the vocal minority. And they need to hold their ground and say, this is why we're doing it, and this is why we're doing it. What's up, Chad? Got a couple of new people wandering in here. Guards killed you while you were AFK. That's not cool. If the servers follow the updates of the Korean server, higher-end gear will soon be given to you for free. I hadn't heard that. Oh, haunted chest. Because we know how useful those are. The guards shouldn't have killed you while you were AFK. Are you sure the guards killed you? Or are you sure somebody else didn't kill you and just leave you there by the guards? Because there are the people that will, like, try to kill you and then stealth out. That's another thing. If you're not in any game, if you're going to put the guards there as a deterrent, if you're going to have the guards as a deterrent, then the guards need to be an actual deterrent. I remember the guards in Sandy. I could steal your ship right in front of the guards, tank the guards, kill you, keep turning in the stuff because 6 guards couldn't kill me. That's not a deterrent then. That's not a safe zone. Better just say that the world's not that there's no safe zones in the world than have ineffective guards that can be confused by a clipper with a cannon. I can't say that I've ever killed a guard. I can't say I've ever tried. I will say that I tanked the guards forever one day stealing a cargo ship. Their instant response. Oh, that's fitting. Yeah, there are a lot of people coming back to Archeage. The problem is, I talk about it a lot. I wish Gamigo and XL would realize that they've made some decisions that make it almost impossible for people to return to the game. The lack of land being the biggest one. If land is going to be a premier feature of your game, then you've got to have land be available, and that's the problem right now. People come back, and they're forced to get a silo so that they have somewhere to put an otherworldly storage chest. I think it was Shoot Who, one of the guys that hangs out here all the time. He said, land isn't required to play Archeage, but storage is required. Yeah, no land. And here's the thing, man. I don't think that they need to do new servers. What XL could do, and XL would have to do it because Gamigo can't do it. All XL would have to do would be to create an instance zone that was similar to the singleton only farm plots we had at launch. Just create an instance zone where you can buy a plot. And here it's the funny part. Buy a plot that you could drop two of anything on. 2 mansions, 2 beanstalks. 2 beanstalks would let them sell those damn things again, so I don't know why they'd be against that. But if you have land in the instant zone, you can't have land in the open world. If you have land in the open world, you can't have land in the instant zone. That way people who are coming to the game, okay, they have a place to throw down land, get their otherworldly storage chests squared away, and you can make it so it's only 2 plots. You could, but any 2, just give them a, whatever, an 88 by 44. And that's the end of it. Takes away a big part of the open world PvP? Not really. It doesn't take away any of the open world PvP. Because you can only PvP in the open world and housing zones during certain parts, during certain phases. You can only kill somebody in their housing zone if their housing is in a zone that can go conflict, and then you can only kill them during the conflict war period. So once they put the housing restriction in, where there was no PvP in housing, that killed that shit years ago. The big issue is they need to not allow 10 accounts. True, technically by the Gamigo end user license agreement, when you play any Gamigo game, you can only have 5 accounts. But they haven't put that under Archeage. Probably because they know so many people had played Archeage with numerous accounts. And we talk about it all the time. There's no way to stop it. So, shaking your finger at people and saying you can't have multiple alts, well, you know. So it's fair when I'm sleeping in Halcyona with the door open 10 minutes later I find myself dead? Well, yes, in theory. You live in a hostile zone. So the way it used to be is, yes, if you were in Halcyona, you could get killed. Right, but that's why it's never an issue in Korea. Well, that's because in Korea, to get your account, you know, there's steps you have to take. Now there's a lot of people that have, now there's a lot of people in Korea who have 2 alts, because they can have 3 accounts. They can have 2 accounts assigned to a cell phone. When you had to register with your ID number, yeah, absolutely, you could only have, you would only have 1 account. Let's see. XL designs the game around their country's policy, not NA's. True. You need a Korean social security number to make a Korean game account. That is not true. Now you need a Korean phone number, and you can attach 3 accounts to 1 phone number. That changed 2 years ago? Year and change ago? So, yeah, mobile phone. It needs to be a Korean mobile phone. Yeah, if you have a friend in Korea, yeah, people were paying other people to use their social security number. I have friends in the military who, while they're in Korea, they make friends, and their friends are like, "Can I use your phone?" Can they end up selling the use of the number, to other people? Yes, it automods his name. Yeah, if you, like I said, I have friends, like when I want to play a Korean-based game, I have friends in the military. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get a fucking text message. I need the code. They're like, what are you doing? Just shut up. You're not a gamer. You don't understand. But how do I keep doing that? I only have open the other ones. Oh, there we go. Little Frost isn't here. He hates that thing. Have fun eating, man. Don't talk about food around me. I'm a fat kid who's got to get not fat. Really sucks. Have a good meal. I have to laugh, man. My family has been really supportive when so my my family's been hugely supportive, and this is week 2. We are on French fry watch week 2. I haven't had a goddamn French fry in 2 weeks. Doing everything right, you know, everything right, man. Lost 40 pounds. I got another 40 to go minimum, just to get down into that BMI category. But it's going good. It's going really good. Go to get my blood work done. My blood work is like horrible, absolutely horrible. And so doctor's like, you need to change your diet. You need to get your cholesterol down. You need to get your sugars in control. You got to do all these things. And I'm like, but I'm being healthy. My fucking wife gets her goddamn cholesterol checked because in her A1C checked. Cheeseburgers and fries, the 2 weeks prior to getting her shit checked, everything is in like you're almost on the low end range. Me, I'm eating salads and shit, and it's like, nope, sorry Jay, you don't get to eat any of the good stuff in life. Last week I was at a table. My wife has a sirloin, fries, you know, sirloin, fries, mashed potatoes. My daughter, sirloin, fries, mac and cheese. Here I am with my Parmesan crusted chicken with my broccoli and my mashed potatoes, and I'm like, this is almost not worth living. I would rather have 4 more years of steak and fries and be done. Check out, man. But I can't do that because I have a 6-year-old. So, you know, when the doctor tells you when you're like 1 steak away from cardiac arrest, you need to figure that stuff out. But I mean, it's not all just a matter of that. I mean, I've been pretty sick for the last 7 months. I got a virus and just could not get rid of it. So the lesson here is don't get a kid and die at 30 from steak. Hello, 40. I stole the fountain of youth. People look at me, they're like, you're 40? I'm like, yeah, come September, man. It's even worse because my hair has gotten a little shaggy. I have the little bit of gray at the sides, so people can actually, they're like, okay, you might be 40. You might be 40, but once I go and I get this re-high and tighted and cleaned up, people will be like, 40? Get out of here. It's really funny watching the faces of the people on the base when I have to go in for an appointment. Not that I couldn't be retired at 38 from the military. You know, but I'm a retired captain. And you see their faces. They're like, retired Captain Jalan. Then I stand up and they're like, you're retired? Yeah. Got this. Don't worry about it, man. You got the right person. We are okay. Oh, must be clear mind. Wrong one. So, we did a lot today. A lot done during today's show. Like I said, people were asking me all that stuff about healers. I can't, like I said, can't really tell you about healers and what we want to do, because if we don't know we don't know what the changes to the plate gear is going to be. Without the changes known about the plate gear, it's really difficult to tell healers if they should run plate or run cloth. I am radically against healers in plate, but I understand why they do it. Because if you see those buffs from cloth, there is no real benefit to having a complete cloth set. When it used to be cast time, that was more than enough to justify why am I gonna run cloth, because I'm getting cast time on it. Now, we were talking about how do you stop a healer and you keep a healer silenced. And that's because the person, they had a really articulate argument, and I'm like, but I'm never silenced for 7 seconds. So the person's making their argument that you can keep a healer silenced for 7 seconds, and I'm like, but I'm never silenced for 7 seconds. Mainly because the 20% CC reduction, and then this procs off anything. Where is it? That procs off any critical heal. So if you have Resurgence going, or you have Renewal going, if you pop your Mist-Song Shield, if you pop anything that restores life, if that life restoration crits, then, silence is reduced by another 40%. Now, what I will say is good melee who are really really good, they keep you tripped, and they do it just right, where the trip is what kills you, because they get you lined up for the kill shot. And yeah, that's the thing. I'll agree with you, JJ. Here's the problem. I'm okay with the system that they changed. I really wasn't happy with the 28 to 18 point change. But this passive is the most useless passive. Post-cast mana regen by +5 with an additional 44.4 based on spirit. Really useless passive. So this one's kind of funny. Yeah, it was nerfed already. Yeah, I'm aware. I mean, shit. Yeah, it used to give a lot more. It gave this as well. And they took this out in 4.5, and they popped that down into the Abyssals, which was the right decision, right? But it killed hybrid. They killed hybrid builds when they did that. When they moved the 10% healing out of under Abyssal, you had to make your decision. Did you want to have 10%? There we go. Hi, Frost. They made it so if you were going to be like a paladin or an argent, you either had you either had 10% melee damage or you had 10% healing. So it kind of hurt those builds. When they put the passives back, because they took out the abyssal skills, it somewhat fixed that. But then you have 18 points, so to get 2 passives didn't really work well. I still don't understand. Again, if you want to talk about hybrid builds that are too powerful, I don't understand why this passive is at the 4-point spot and not the 7. But then I could see where they don't want to change this anywhere else. The other one is Zeal. I still don't understand why Zeal was ever the 4-point passive. I just don't understand. It's not. I don't have to understand. It's not mine. It's not mine to understand. But I still don't understand. But yeah, if I had to do, I saw somebody ask a good question a while ago and I forgot to answer it. Somebody said if I had to do it all over again, would I play on Fresh Start or Legacy? I think that was the question. It was a while ago, going back. I missed another one too. Let's see. I have no alts, don't use patient unless I'm under a labor crunch. Yeah, you don't, I mean, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay to play, it just makes it easier. Some people keep their game on all, they keep their computer on all the time. I mean, that is one way to do it. I thought somebody asked a question, and they probably did, and it's probably way up there. But if I had to do it all over again, I'm gonna be honest, I probably wouldn't play Archeage. To be fair, too many things have changed. Too much shit has gotten broken in Archeage. I do kind of wish that I had never changed classes. I was an archer, I was an outrider, an Ebon Song at launch, and then Shade Hunter. Used to rotate between those three. Yeah, it's too painful starting from scratch now. The problem is that there's nothing exciting. Like, there's nothing exciting in the game to bring you back. It sucks that Tryon fucked it up real good. Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, for people that don't realize this, a lot of people beat the shit out of Gamigo, and Gamigo has made all the right decisions. Gamigo has made all the right decisions when push has come to shove, because Gamigo's team for Archeage is still the bullshit Archeage team from Tryon that doesn't know fuck all about the game, but they have a business department above them that actually knows what the fuck they're doing. So, and really, what are the big issues that have come up since Gamigo took over? And the big one was the mounts. They sold this particular mount and its companion mount, and they sold it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm not going to say that I was the sole person responsible for this, but I did a video on it, and on my stream I outright said, you know what, fuck it. As soon as the FTC, because it happened when the government was shut down, I said, as soon as the FTC's website is back up, I'm filing a complaint, because you can't sell mounts for 4 weeks and then decide that you're gonna normalize them. That's bullshit. That's bait and switch bullshit. Well, Massively OP, they ran the story with it, and that it got some, it got a significant piece of, coverage, and, yeah, let me, boom, there's Wolfus Moon. So let me, are you gonna work with me today, computer? Oh, what did we break? Hold on, we broke something. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see. Archeage rolls out update as 5.1 as players call bait and switch over normalized mounts. This, boom. Warhead. As you can see down here at the bottom, as promised, Gamigo pushed out this update, and then source, press release, official forums, another thread with thanks to Paradox, and they pushed out this new company, same tricks, the bait and switch edition, lies, damn lies, and statistics. This went out there, and shortly thereafter, Gamigo announced, we're undoing that decision. Well, that's the right thing to do. You sell a mount for 4 weeks, and then you decide, nah, fuck it, we're just going to change its speed. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. And they did the right thing. So that was one thing Gamigo did. Now, what I disagree with is their handling of support tickets. And like I said earlier in the show, if you can't answer somebody's ticket within like 24 hours, you don't have enough staff. And then somebody said, I saw them say once, but we don't answer support tickets on the weekend. The fuck you mean you don't answer support tickets on the weekend? What? Then that means if you have a situation where you don't answer support tickets on the weekend, then that means you don't do active GM monitoring. Because that's what a GM does. A GM sits there, and a lot of people think a GM only works on one server at a time. A GM reads tickets from every server. A GM can see chat from every server. So a GM sitting there and is like, what'd that guy just say? Chat ban. I mean, if you have active GM monitoring it, then, you know, you shouldn't have these problems. But when you say we don't answer support tickets on the weekend, that means you don't have GM support on the weekend. Because a GM, when they're sitting there like, everything looks good in the world. Next ticket. Next ticket. 7 tickets all appeared because XYZ Guild is blocking on Kadum. Kadum? Let me port over to where they said it is. Oh, look. XYZ Guild is blocking. Boom. Ban all the characters. Write up one response. Thank you. The issue has been investigated and taken care of. Unfortunately, we can't discuss player disciplinary actions. Copy. Pasta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Done. I just closed 7 tickets. But if you say you don't answer tickets on the weekend, then so are you telling me your active GMs? Okay, your active GMs don't answer support tickets? Well, then how do they know where to go? So that is one huge problem. If you want to have a game, you gotta have the support staff. And support staff you need to have support staff everywhere. Like you have a big giant ass corporate building. Your primary concern is the people who work in the building, what they do. So I own a big giant ass 5-floor game design company. I got 500 game developers and artists and engineers all working in there. But my total employee count is like 600 because I have janitors, maintenance people, support staff. You know, I don't know what the politically correct term for them anymore is. Administrative assistants. Those people count too. Shit, I'm gonna be completely honest in life. Without Sweet Tart half the time, shit would fall through the cracks. Sweet Tart the other day on my Wednesday show, she was like 6 minutes into the show, she's like, hey, did you tweet? Shit, skipped a step. You know, so you don't start a company without thinking about the support of it. You're gonna have a company where you're gonna pay people $100,000 a year to be game designers and not have janitors. Okay, I'm gonna break this down. Should somebody making $100,000 a year be capable of being on a rotational turn to take out the trash? Sure. Are they gonna do it? No, they're not gonna do it. Anybody who's ex-military knows there was a point of your life that the shit work was yours. Literally the shit work. Cleaning toilets, cleaning floors, taking out trash, mowing the lawn, pulling weeds, shoveling snow. And not only shoveling snow, but pushing water across a parking lot with a squeegee was always a personal favorite of mine. But these are things you do when you're the low head on the totem pole. Well, actually, when you're the high head on the totem pole, totem pole's the most honored position is at the bottom. That's neither here nor there. But I still can't fathom. Yeah, double bonus points if it's still raining. Like, nobody else would believe me if I said that, but Warhead's been there. Warhead's been there in the what I don't know what the Army called them. The Air Force had ILS jackets. Your rain jacket. You're out there in your rain jacket, pushing water around a parking lot with a squeegee to help make sure that it flows to the sewer grate. Like, are you for real right now? Is this really what my life has become? My life has become I have to push rainwater around. I have to push rainwater around because somebody didn't lay the parking lot leveled. And I mean, that just sucked. I'm gonna be honest. That sucked. I hated my life. I'll tell one other military story and then I'll give away an Apex because celebratory week, man. The Paradox Gaming Network YouTube channel hit 500,000 views this week. Actually hit 500,000 views sometime after I went to bed and sometime before I woke up. So pretty stoked about that. 500,000 views. People told me that my shit videos were never going to see, I was never going to have 10,000 views on my channel. So now I get to point out that I have videos with 10,000 views. So pretty stoked about that. I do want to tell one story though, while I get this going. I will get the giveaway going because the keyword is going to be involved in our story. And then I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna the next couple of shows are gonna be chopped down. I'm gonna try to stay a little bit closer to the 2-hour mark. Like I said, I have to take my health into consideration, and this medication I'm on really sucks, really tears up my stomach. I really don't like it. I've got one more dose next week, and then hopefully I'll be healthy again. If not, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. But so our giveaway is going to be Pinecone. You should have way more views. Your content is insanely well made. Sadly, you're doing for a semi-dead game. Yeah, Envy, but that's okay because I'm getting the practice now. I'm getting the practice on how to make videos, how to chop them up. Like if you notice the Ashes videos that I did this week, they're a lot shorter. They're a lot more on point. They're, instead of me talking about the entire PvP system in a 45-minute video, I talk about, here's the overview, here's corruption. The next one is node wars and node sieges. The next one is castle sieges. So I've learned a lot. And so my channel will continue to grow. And then what I'm really thinking about doing is splitting away one of my shows from being video game, a specific game, to being a more podcast. But anyways, why Pinecone? Why is Pinecone the keyword for today's giveaway? And it's going to be an Apex on the Kadum server. I find that... Welcome to the party to you, too. I find that the modern world is very, very difficult to teach kids how to, you know, how to fit in with the modern world. Personal responsibility is a very difficult thing to teach, and I was never really late. I was never late in my entire life. I was never late. Well, one day I got sent to a base where I wasn't staying on base. I was TDY to the base. I was staying off base at a hotel. Go military. And every day that I was coming in late, and I apologized the first day, and I backed up my departure time by 10 minutes, and I got there later the second day because I didn't know the flow of the game. Well, the third day I was late. Sergeant tells me not to grab my tools. Sergeant tells me to grab a trash bag. And he goes outside and he brings this Folgers coffee can with him, and he sits up on this ledge and he starts smoking, and he's like, put your bag down here. So I put my bag down. He's like, you see all the way over there by those pine trees? Go get me a pine cone. So I go off and I go get him a pine cone. I bring it back. He's like, put it in the bag. I put it in the bag, and he's like, go get another one. And at this point, I'm pretty quick on the draw. I realize where this is going. Well, in order to teach me to not be late, I walked across a fairly size parking lot in a little strip of grass, and probably little over an hour of my time going back and forth picking up pine cones. So now I've got this big giant ass trash bag of pine cones, and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you picking up the general's pine cones? Take this bag and go put those pine cones back, and put them back as close to where you found them as possible. Don't just put them in a pile. So there I am. I'm a grown-ass adult at this point, mind you, but in the military it doesn't matter. I was late. I deserved it. And so there I am with this giant-ass bag of pine cones, placing them back underneath the trees. The only value of that story is I was never late again in the rest of my military career. I was never late for anything. I wasn't late for anything. Ever. Because if I was going to be late for anything, I shot an email to somebody that said, hey, I'm stuck in one meeting. I'm not going to get to your meeting on time. And then I get there to be like, you were late. Nah, I'm not late. No, fuck you. I'm not late. I was delayed at another meeting. Yeah, he missed a golden opportunity to have me take pine cones back one at a time. I actually found out later that's what happened to people if they had to do it again. But I was there TDY to fix x-ray equipment, so he really didn't want to waste like too much of my time. But no, that's actually what happened. What happened to people who were late a second time. And then I saw another base where it was gravel. You had to go pick up all the random gravel out of a parking lot that got thrown up. It was like there was a gravel parking lot attached to a blacktop. You had to go pick up all the gravel one at a time. I would say, you know, I would never use that as a teaching tool after I got my commission, but I definitely would not ever tell my NCOs they couldn't use it as a teaching tool, because goddamn did that teach me a lesson. I will be completely honest. I was never late again. So, you know, just one of those funny stories about the military that I like to share. Personal accountability. Anyway, here we go. Giving away an Apex on Kadam. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12 people. That's pretty good. Roll it. Hi, I'm Chad. Hi, I'm Chad. I need a name of a character that you have on Kadam. Somebody asked me, do I think about an Aranor club? No, I had an Aranor club and I sold it because I don't play this game enough to kill my life feeding it. I wasn't going to feed that that weapon, so I ended up selling it. There's you. Can't gauge when my story happened because when I was a corporal in 1999, I was told that to give remedial training to subordinates, the training had to be related to the offense. This would have happened in 2004, 2005. But yeah, we couldn't, like, you couldn't make somebody clean the bathrooms for being late, but you could always, it was an opportunity for volunteering. Let me do one thing at a time. You know what I gotta do? You know what I forgot to do last week? Or the last time I gave away one? I forgot to log it. Goddamn shenanigans. But no, I don't play often enough to have an Aranor. I play now just to hang out with you guys for a little bit. But yeah, I don't play. I don't play often enough. But as far as Warhead's point, yeah, you can't make stuff a punishment, but it would be like, all right, well, here's your choices. Because I mean, the Air Force became all about paperwork and shit canning your career, which I hated that too. Like, why do I have to give you paperwork that then prevents you from getting a 5 on your EPR because you have paperwork, and then because you didn't have all Firewall 5 EPRs, you can't get a decoration when you leave the base. It was a stupid punitive system. So it was I always turned it into, well, you got a couple of choices here. You done fucked the pooch. Either my building gets clean or I'll give you the paperwork. Which one do you want? Because I learned from Army guys, and it was better to smoke them than it was. It's better to smoke somebody than it is to give them paperwork and shit can their career. And I remember another funny story, and then I got to get out of here. When I went to tech school, my building was an indoor building, so it was a standard kind of apartment. Standard kind of apartment setup, all indoors. Outside the building, on the other to the right of us was a dorm that was half Army, half Air Force. Well, there was no laundry room on the 3rd or 2nd floor, so the army guys have to bring their bags down to do their laundry, and they would throw them over the ledge. Well, that wasn't allowed. That was against the rules. So the drill sergeant saw a private chuck his bag over the balcony. He was going to go pick it up on the 1st floor, walking in the laundry room. Drill sergeant happens to be standing there when the kid gets it, and he's like, "Are you supposed to throw your bag off the 3rd floor?" "No, drill sergeant." "Well, then get the fuck back up there and then bring it down and come report to me." So he does it, and then he's like, "You didn't do it fast enough. Do it again." Does it again. He's like, you didn't touch each and every stair on the way down. Do it again. "You didn't touch the handrail. Do it again." So the kid goes up and down the stairwell about 8-9 times with his bag full of laundry. The drill sergeant says, "You ever going to chuck that bag over the 3rd floor ledge again?" "No." "You ever going to let anybody else do it?" "No." It's a more teachable moment. Why give somebody paperwork that fucks their career, when it's going to be more effective to smoke them? That's just me. That's just my opinion. You're doing an Aranor Scepter because you can't do PvP with Hiram. I can, but I'm just a regular player with this. Well, Aranor is a cut above. Somebody asked, "I'm a returning Archeage player. Could anyone perhaps tell me if I'm supposed to be able to tank mobs and Hiram gear I got from the website because I'm getting wrecked?" Yes, you can tank the mobs that you get. If you got all of your packs from the website, then you should be able to build yourself a somewhat decent gear set. But it takes time. It takes time. What you really want to do is make sure you're getting the dailies from the cash shop. Make sure you're doing Westheimer Mountains. And wow, kind of breezy out. Hold on a second. Yeah, make sure you're doing your West Hiram Mountain dailies. If you can be at reset, yeah, absolutely. If you can be at reset for the reset raid. You're gonna get through all of it. You're gonna get through all of them all at one time. That will definitely make a huge difference. How much are those going for? But do Hiram dailies because you get infusions over time. Yeah, make sure you do as many of them as you can. Absolutely do as many of them as you can. That will make a huge difference in how quickly your gear gets rolled up. Devotion. You got the wrong stuff for your Hiram? What do you mean you got the wrong stuff? Wish we could open these, like, open them all to one type. I was Enigmatist back in the day, so I got katanas. Oops, leveled them up and realized they gave strength. Well, no, every Hiram gear can give every Hiram gear can give every stat. I'll show you that in 1 second. So, here is your piece of gear, right? You come in here to replace effects. You come in here. Now you'll notice I have change attempts at 1 because I've leveled up the gear. You no longer have to do it when you roll. You can store up to 5 of them, but as you can see, for the stat, you can get any of the 5. For the other 2, they pull out of the same pool, so you can roll them off. But yeah, Hiram katanas don't give magic attacks, so that would be pointless. You wouldn't want katanas for a magic class anyway. The only thing that you can use from Hiram for a mage is the scepter or the staff. But what you can't. The thing is, you didn't waste it. because once you get another item the way you want it, you can feed the bad one. If it's too far along, that you can't fix it, then just feed it. No, obsidian katanas cannot be used in the offhand. Obsidian katanas, obsidian clubs have to be used main hand. The only variation of that was the V2 scepter, which gave healing power, which was odd. Yeah, it was a small amount. It was a really, really small amount. Insufficient labor points. Son of a... I heard you. Oh yeah, so sad story for the day, and then I'm out of here. Yeah, no, insufficient labor points. Yeah, it has labor pots, but since I don't play all day, every day, when I come back, I'll have labor. So I have the 4 cats. You guys saw my gray one. Here is my other one. She has been hiding behind my camera for most of the show. She does not like the window open, so she'll sit in the window for a few minutes, and then she doesn't like windy days. Well, the other 2 that you guys usually don't see are my white tabby and my orange tabby, and that's because the orange tabby is the white tabby is the one who's usually harassing me while I'm streaming. He's the one that only comes around when he hears me get animated with you guys. Well, he recently has decided that he's going to sleep above Tamir's head at night, so he doesn't really want as much attention. But the one occasionally you hear making all the noise over there is my orange tabby, my daughter's cat. She has a bed up in the window, and one of the cats puked in it, and I had to wash it, because you can't have your cat laying in cat puke. It's not, A, it's gross, B, it's not safe, because biological matter. So I wash it. She won't get in it now, because it doesn't smell like her. I'm gonna have to fight her back into it. But it's literally, I've got a box underneath the window, and the 2 cats are on the box staring out the window, but neither one of them will lay in the bed so they can lay and look out the window. Goofy ass felines. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here early today. Next couple of shows I'm gonna keep to 2 hours, because this medication I'm on really tears me up. I want to go lay down, and then I'll tell you guys all about Cirque du Soleil on Monday, because that's gonna be funny as shit. So you guys take care. I'll see you next week.